feel so fortunate in my life to have a job and to be able to make a living doing something that I absolutely love.
My mom has a ton of energy, and she puts it into anything she goes after. I think she got to Point Reyes and looked around and was like, there's no bakery here. And it seemed like a niche that needed to be filled.
Prior to having that idea and having a small child, I mean, I looked around and it was like, what could the community use here that isn't here? My maternal grandmother was just a voracious baker. I mean, she baked pies and cookies, and her daughter, my mother, for her family was a baker, but a reluctant one. I don't think she really had a passion for it. And I just became interested. I mean, when I was 10 years old, I just took over the cookie baking and the brownie baking, and it just stuck. And it was just something that was natural to me. We probably go through about 240 pounds of butter a week, and probably about 180 dozen eggs a week. Flour, probably about maybe 500 pounds of flour a week. Chocolate chips, oh my gosh, 100 pounds a week of chocolate chips.
She still works 3 days a week and loves what she does. She still gets up and goes through that process every day. And if you can do the same thing over and over again for 30 years and still love it, then it's kind of rare when you find that in life, when you find this is exactly where you were meant to be. I think my mom's approach to donating is a scattershot, any and all. She's fairly aggressive with donating.
A business has its own unique way to volunteer. Maybe that person is just working too many hours, too many days a week to be out there in some other capacity, but donating their goods is a brilliant win-win for all of us. So Bridget's contribution as a volunteer has been as a baker.
Over my 47 years here in the community, I feel like almost every event that I've been to or nonprofit meeting, there's been, the Bovine.
All over the years, for all of our events, provided cookies and savory foods that we could sell to help us make money on the events. And for all the pledge drives, the morning snacks are always provided by the Bovine. And that's why we call it the Pudge Drive.
Once I started at Prinza, definitely Bridget and the Bovine were just at the top of the list every time we needed something, whether it was some snacks for volunteers or for an event. And in my first year, we created the Christmas Bird Count for Kids, which is a wonderful event, and she donated these beautiful bird sugar cookies.
It's easy to make an impact when a community is that small, and if you are as prolific at spreading around donations as my mom, then I think that the impact can be pretty huge. I would say that she's unaware of how generous she is. I think it's to that point where she is intrinsically so generous that she doesn't think anything of it. Nor do I think she gives herself any credit for it.
I mean, she just donates all the time. When I worked there, there just wasn't a person who, was turned away, it seemed to me.
It's so funny because for 30 years I've been doing this. So It's always my pleasure to donate. It's just like I feel so lucky that I can do that. My policy is if any organization within West Marin requests a donation for an event, I just never say no. It's always really easy for us to do, and you know, I feel like it's my responsibility. This community has really made my business successful, and I want to give back. I keep flashing on when it was the fire, that first horrible fire in Santa Rosa, when the dance palace turned into a shelter. I made pots and pots of soup, and that was really fulfilling to me, knowing that, you know, these people that had been displaced and didn't, you know, were confused and didn't have home had at least some good hot soup.
The Bovine is like iconic. I think a lot of people feel like that place is like such a source of comfort and, of course, deliciousness and community.
First and foremost, Bridget is a community member who happens to run a business, and she's also an incredibly good businesswoman and a great employer. I mean, generations of people have worked at the bakery, and she's just an all-around, she's sort of like the mayor.
One thing that's really amazing to me is seeing these generations of people kind of go through the bakery, and I have the children of children that I hired originally. For instance, Sophia Arroyo, she goes to Drake High School. Her mother is Christy Arroyo, and Christy's worked for me for over 20 years.
I think it's really important for young kids to have a place to work like the Bovine for their first job, because it's it teaches you all the basic skills you need when you're older and transition to like a job after college or something. So it teaches you how to handle money, how to clean, how to deal with customers, customer service. So it also taught me how to handle the money that I make. Like Bridget gave me the car that they used to use to deliver pastries. She handed that down to me for free. And so I got taught how to like spend some of my money on fixing that car a little bit and on my gas, because I would use it to drive to and from the bakery. And then it teaches you how to do savings, and you have to like pay taxes. And that's all really important as you're growing up to know how to do.
It's so great to see some of these kids who are so shy and not used to, you know, interacting with adults, especially, to just like to watch them go from being kind of meek and shy to just, you know, blossoming there. I've seen that over and over again.
What I saw was that Bridget was able to create this warm, supportive environment for her employees where we all felt really valued, and she was interested in us, and we had a really good time too, as well as being a very effective businesswoman. I mean, she was running a business which is still thriving today. And then in addition to that, she was always such an important part of the community and was available to fully participate and to be very generous with her business in the community. So I think Bridget really could navigate between those three areas, and as a young woman, it was really inspiring to see, and I've taken those lessons with me.
Bridget's business in itself is one of our community commons, I would say, in that communities need gathering places, and we have a number of them in our community. Some of them created for that express purpose, like the Dance Palace itself, but other businesses, by their nature, their generosity, their hospitality, become gathering places, and in and of itself, that to me is a service to a community, and the Bovine is certainly such a place.
I feel so lucky to have landed here, and I just think that giving back to the community and participating and connecting is just what it should all be about. It's just what people should do.
Bridget, mwah.